And just like the fact that the powers that be are going after the weakest in free speech and taking away our ability to speak, they start with the weaker people. And right now in this budget revise in Sacramento, Newsom is cutting out immigrants from healthcare. He dares it. We in San Francisco, who watched him as a supervisor oppose healthy San Francisco, he's claiming that he supported it then and that he should get some credit for that because he tried it one time. But this is what they're doing. They're going after the poorest. They're going to be charging monthly $100 per person, an impossible rate, and taking people off of the health care that finally undocumented people have gained access to. And that is because they're coming after all of us. And one thing I want to stress, this is my 50-plus year in fighting the powers that be, the corporations. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and I watched as a kid, as a Canadian, the farmers in Saskatchewan and the workers in British Columbia built a workers' party, the New Democratic Party. And they didn't get the single-payer system in Canada until they had a class party that looked out for people at the bottom, those that have the least right to speak, those that have the least right for health care. It was the drought and the depression in Saskatchewan, and it was the attacks on workers on the Pacific Coast in BC that led bit by bit. And the New Democratic Party is essential to protect single payer in Canada, because as soon as that party is weakened, and we saw them fall from 24 seats in the parliament to 8, but where were people going? They were going to block the Trump takeover of Canada and the far right. Those people still support this party. And there are provinces that are ruled by this party, and every time people start to go after single payer in Canada, the New Democratic Party surges, because we can't rely on the classes of the conservative, i.e. Republican here, or the Democrat, or the Liberals in Canada, i.e. the Democrats here, because they don't look out for everyone. They're seeing who they can cut out so that the people they serve can make more money, especially in a crisis. And now we've seen the billionaires completely take over our government. Look even at the DCCC in San Francisco. That's why we need a workers' party, a labor party, a party of the communities. We must have that to move forward, because it's not in their material interest. We are the first to be cut.
We need Tommy Douglas.
We need to have a strategy, a political strategy of independence. And we need, right now, we saw Trump attacking the courts front on, and then the Supreme Court buckling once again after Trump called Leonard Leo and the Federalists a sleazebag. These are the far-right judges that he's put in there. He's threatening to either take down the judiciary and go the next step with a phony Reichstag sort of provocation so we can have emergency rule. But the best defense is a good offense. We need to build a class political movement in this country right now. We need to form committees in our neighborhoods, every library meeting, every corner of the city needs to have a council. We need to build and demand that these cuts not come through. Home care is going to be cut. Our wages are going to be cut. Our overtime is going to be cut out. Transportation is being cut. They want to take us back to a lower wage that can't sustain the home care workers in San Francisco and the metropolitan areas. We have to stick together or we're all going to hang separately. Fight! Workers' politics!
Thank you. We're going to ask the speakers if they can limit their speakers, because I know people want to get going to this march to Black Rock, and we also have a band, the Brass Liberation Band, which is going to lead the way. So thank you to the Brass Liberation Band for joining us today. We need music. We need music. So our next speaker is Ed Kinchley. He's president of SEIU 1021 West Bay Retiree Branch.
Happy to follow an SEIU brother.
Go for it, closer.
Closer? How about here? Tasting. I'm happy to join to follow an SEIU brother. My name is Ed Kinchley, longtime member of SEIU 1021. I was chair of our healthcare industry for the local for a long time, and right now I'm chair for our retirees here in the West Bay. I'm here to tell you that SEIU 1021 is 100% in favor of single-payer health care. And I think a big part of the reason that we have moved in this direction as a union is that many of our workers, thousands of our workers, work in healthcare. And those of us who work in healthcare know that the current system is not working. And it's particularly not working for working people, for the poor, and particularly for people of color.
Yes.
I think our union and other unions must do more to participate in this movement to win single payer. And
Yes.
I can tell you that the way that we started in SEIU 1021, so we started as an independent committee that had no acknowledgement from the local. Then we eventually got acknowledgement as a committee within the local. Then the next step was we then got them, the whole local, to take a position in favor of single payer. And eventually got our international to also take a position on paper for single payer, even though any of you who know anything about the labor movement know that SEIU nationally isn't doing anything for single payer. And then on the local level, we got our local to actively support specific pieces of legislation, particularly here in California, for single payer. And that's sort of the process that we went through. We find and appeal to people in the health who work in healthcare, and also members whose family and who themselves have been forgotten by the healthcare system in terms of not having their medical needs taken care of. I personally worked as a social worker in the emergency room at General Hospital for 18 years, and every day I and my coworkers saw how this system does not work. Many people come into the emergency room with things that they should be seeing their GP, their regular doctor about, but they don't have a GP because they don't have insurance. A really strange system, and one that not only is not economically good for us as individuals, as families, as communities, it's not good for the nation. We spend way more money because we don't take care of people with preventive health care, just keeping people healthy. That's what we should be doing, and that's what single payer would be able to do. We need to get the for-profit health insurance industry out of the picture. From our perspective, as healthcare workers and as people who receive healthcare, we know that the healthcare insurance industry does not provide any healthcare. In fact, their objective is to limit or to deny healthcare and access to it. And these days, they've started using robots to do the denials. Of course, the robots are programmed by them to do what they do, so it's not like there's independent thinking there, but they're keeping up with IT to do a better job of screwing us. And of course, you know that United Healthcare is one of the worst of these for-profit, not-for-people insurance agencies, insurance industry. Of course, we have to stop the cuts in Medicaid, Medicare. The cuts in Medicaid in particular, I believe, will be a death sentence for many people. We had at least one speaker speak to that earlier. We have to stop those, but we have to do better. Like many people have said already, a good offense is the best defense. I also want to invite people. This Wednesday, our union and other city worker unions are holding a rally at noon on Wednesday at City Hall prior to the 1:30 budget committee hearing, at which the mayor's budget, which includes a lot of significant cuts, including in healthcare. I invite people to come and join us. I just want to close by saying, I'm going to say health justice. I'm going to ask you to say single payer. Health justice.
Single payer.
Health justice.
Single payer.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And one of the groups of workers in this country that have been struggling against privatization, attack on what they do, is the post office. And everyone remembers the struggle against privatization to turn the post office over to Staples. Do people remember that? Yes. Go to Staples and you'll get your meal. That was a fought by APW, American Postal Workers Union, and they're here today to talk about the struggle for single payer and for their members and all people. And joining us is Alice Lindstrom from the APW, a retired postal worker. Welcome, Alice. She has a bullhorn, so you're going to have to, maybe somebody can hold it for her.
I have on record for many years supporting single payer health care for all. We don't like the name.
Are bloodsuckers. They're killing people in this country for more profits. That's what BlackRock is about. So our next speaker is Kathleen Healy. She's an MD, Physicians for National Healthcare.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Dr. Kathleen Healy from NAPA. I'm an ear, nose, and throat specialist and a member of PNHP, Physicians for a National Health Program. Is this good, sound-wise?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. It's so gratifying to see this response to our National Day of Action to spotlight the importance of healthcare for everyone. You have the vision of what healthcare could be and should be in our nation. And vision is what we need to break away from the broken and unjust system that is all we have known in the United States. As a doctor, I envision caring for my patients without the for-profit middlemen who cause delays in treatment, denials of care, and who substitute drugs that I have little faith in. We all deserve better.
Yes, yes.
We are at odds, those middlemen and I. Their purpose as corporations is to make money for shareholders, to keep their stock prices up, and to fund expensive marketing campaigns.
Whoa.
To save money, they withhold care, delay care, and deny care.
Whoa.
My purpose is to keep you healthy.
Yeah.
Their purpose is to keep their company healthy. It has nothing to do with caring for you.
Exactly.
Delaying and denying care are not their only tactics. High deductibles and large copays benefit them and discourage people from seeking care. 14 million insured and uninsured Americans have a total of $220 billion of medical debt. The majority have debt over $10,000. And medical debt is the leading cause of personal bankruptcy in this country. The National Cancer Institute publishes articles on the financial toxicity of cancer. The financial toxicity of cancer, only in America. I have a friend from medical school whose brother-in-law moved in with her family for a while. He was a successful real estate agent in Los Angeles and insured when his wife developed breast cancer. She battled it for 10 years before she died. During that time, he spent their savings on her health care, and after she died, he sold his house to pay the remaining medical bills. He was bankrupt and homeless from medical debt. Some cancer patients even forego expensive chemotherapy and die rather than bankrupt their families. What a painful decision to make. This in the world's wealthiest country. Heartbreaking, shameful, and not acceptable.
Yes. Not acceptable.
So let's imagine no medical or hospital bills. Imagine no insurance premiums removed from your paychecks. Imagine the burden of providing health insurance lifted from your employer. Imagine being free to leave your job or start a business without the loss of health care for you and your family. Imagine facing a severe medical illness without worrying about medical debt. Our vision is single health care. Single-payer health care abolishes the financial toxicity of cancer treatments. It prevents the current cruelty of ending health care for millions of us in favor of tax breaks for the wealthy. It kicks out the expensive middlemen and reduces our health care costs. The health care dollar goes to health care and not to administrative costs, marketing campaigns, CEO salaries, and corporate profit. Our vision is health care for everyone. Our vision is no medical debt. Our vision is no physician burnout from admin loads or moral injury from being forced to practice less than medicine. Share this vision and let's bring it on.
Okay, everybody, we are at the end of our speakers. Thank you to everybody who is here. Thank you to our amazing speakers. Can you, can everybody give a big shout out to our speakers? Thank you. So, we are getting ready to march to Black Rock. Now, why Black Rock? Because they lie, they steal, they cheat. Why are we going to Black Rock? Because they lie, they steal, they cheat. Why are we going to Black Rock? Because they lie, they steal, they cheat. So BlackRock happens to be the largest, well, second largest shareholder of United Healthcare, and we know that United Healthcare is the largest insurance company in this country, and they're also the largest denier of medical claims, using a 90% known error rate, AI, that they know is 90% wrong, and yet they still use it. And they are the largest scammer of Medicare, scamming Medicare $3.7 billion in just 1 year. So why are we going to to BlackRock that owns and controls United Healthcare? Because United Healthcare, they lie, they steal, they cheat. What does United Healthcare do? They lie, they steal, they cheat. All right, now what is Congress doing about it? They lie, they steal, they cheat. They are doing absolutely nothing about it. And in fact, some of them, yes, they do sign on to the Medicare for All bill, which is fantastic, but then they do absolutely nothing after that. Nothing. It's not enough to put your name on a bill and then do nothing. But today, we are here, thank you, to change that. We are here because we are going to put an end to Congress not doing anything, and an end to private health insurance and United Healthcare from sucking our hard-earned dollars. You know, every 2 weeks we pay into our payroll taxes for our entire working life. Well, we're done doing that. We want to put single payer on the nation's agenda. So there are 3 things that I want everybody to do. One is that there are some people walking around with clipboards with big QR codes. This. Find somebody with a big QR code, take a photo of it, and sign the petition to force your congressperson to put single payer on the nation's agenda. So find somebody. Number 2, if you're in a union, force your union to put single payer on the nation's agenda. And then number 3, sign up, because we need a movement of millions of people on the street, in the workplace, to put single payer on the nation's agenda. All right, everybody, let's march. There were a couple of us in orange jackets. We're gonna lead you down Market Street on the left-hand side of the street. And there will be more speakers, yeah. But only very few, we're going to walk down Market Street on the left-hand side. On the sidewalk, there are police officers who are going to help. We also have the Brass Liberation Orchestra. Thank you, yes, they're here to help us with our chants and to help us with the music. When we get to First Street, we're going to turn left, and then we're going to walk a couple of blocks to Howard. And at Howard, on the corner there, 400 Howard Street is where we're going to demonstrate in front of Black Rock. Okay. All right.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
That's good.
And the over 65 plan.
finance money. And I fortunately am behind. About the money is the tool I use to find out how many people are taking health care. And you can learn to do it yourself. Okay?
And Elliot, I think he's brought it up.
All right. So those are the things you can do if you're in a union. Unions sometimes have excess revenues that they invest. Ask them if they're invested in health care and look into changing it, okay? So little things, and then try to get away from solid money. The bill is nice, but it's not enough. They have to stop taking the money. They have to advertise their being in support on the website, and they have to talk about it at their town hall. That's being a real activist towards single payer. Okay, folks. I just want to end with one thing. This is my chance.
Okay.
All right, you got the mic.
Now we have the mic.
All right,
Now we have Mike. It's broad. It includes many communities, many working people. Really, the entire country really needs health care. That's what we're talking about, the entire people of the United States. So our next speaker is Salama, and she's with the Black Nurses Association of the Bay Area. Welcome, Salama.
Does it need to tip down? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. But I feel like I'm straddling the thing here. Can I be? Heard some great speeches now, followed by nurses, led by nurses. I'm a nurse. Yes. Nurses are advocates. But first, before I begin, I'd like to start with the Navajo prayer, because we are on the indigenous land. Before me peaceful, I have to stay close. Before me peaceful, behind me peaceful, beneath me peaceful, over me peaceful. And then I'd like to say, I will talk from my values, which are surely shared by some of you. You have some of the same values. And that is courage, that's why we're here. Justice, that's why we're here. Equity,
that's why we're here.
And health.
That's
health
why
for all of
we're
it.
here.
That's right. We have a very unhealthy nation right now. And although we're advocates for single payer or Medicare for all, I want to talk about what we can do now to save what we've got as we progress to what is better. Okay. You know, Representative John Lewis said, boy, this is different. Never be afraid. He's trying to get it right for me. He's trying to get it right for me. Okay. Never. I didn't want to do like this. Never be afraid to make some noise. And get into good trouble, necessary trouble. This is not about go along to get along. That is old school. We're not doing that. That's right. No. Change doesn't happen by us just going along to get along. That's right. What happens with that is what people who didn't vote and so forth and waited it out, you see what happened, okay? Very bad news. At a time.
We are multipliers. Think of yourself as a multiplier, and I'm going to share how. You're not just one individual person, and after this rally, well, gee, what can I do? I'm going to give you some tools.
All right.
And you also have handouts with the QR to do things. But anyway, I am female. That's 51% of the national population, folks. I'm a person of color. That's 40% of the population. I'm a parent, and those who are parents, that's 50% of the population. I'm a grandma. 17% of the population is over 60 years old. Hello? We don't even have to talk about the boomers, okay? As an RN, 1%, but it has been the #1 profession for the last 20 plus years as most trusted and reliable. Okay, we're all about that. Advocacy is what we are about. Plato said, one of the penalties of refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. Are we not there? I didn't consider myself a political person, but I have gotten very political. And I'm going to continue until 47 is out. So this is what we're going to do. You're going to call your representatives. My representative, I live in Marin County, is Jared Huffman. I have his local number as well as the switchboard, which I'm going to share with you. Now, the switchboard number, follow me on this one. 202.
202.
224.
224.
3131.
3131.
Repeat. 8. She's got to go back to kindergarten. 202 224 3131. You got it? Now, the representative for San Francisco, it's by your zip code, it is Pelosi for San Francisco. So you would have to find out who your representative is. But if you know this number, and you memorize it, because if you say it 3 times, you've got it. You can call the switchboard Tuesday through Friday, Eastern time, so you got to call before 9 o'clock our time, right? Okay. And call that number, give them your zip code, and they would direct you to the phone number of your representative. Now, you might say, well, I want to call my senator. How many senators do we have, folks?
2.
Every state has 2. Okay, you know who they are?
Yeah.
You know their names?
Yeah.
And the newer one? Yeah, but the newer one? Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's right. Padilla and Schiff. Yeah. So anyway, another number for you for those who want to call directly to the senator, but the switchboard. However, if you do the 3131, they will transfer your call to the senator call. So you just only need to know the 3131. But I'm going to tell you what the one for the senators are. Ready? With me. 202 224 3121. Got it? 2 senators, you got that? 2-1, okay? So basically you only have to remember 3131, right? Okay? And so I would like to see a show of hands of those who will pledge to call that number twice a week until 47 is gone. Can you show of hands? Until 47 is gone. Now that doesn't mean you have to call all 3 people. You can call, just your senator or one of the senators or just your representative. But to make 2 calls per week to that switchboard number and talk about the current issue that you are saying, hey, you need to vote this way or that way, whatever it is, because it's changing every single day. That's something we've got to talk to them about, right? you know, so we really want to do that. So I'd like to end by saying, I believe in intergenerational. I did see a young man here. Although I spoke from the voice of a female, not ruling out any sons, cousins, brothers, fathers, husbands, grandparents of any kind. But I want to end with an African proverb. The young go fast. We need you. The elders know the way. So you need us as well. So let's do this. And what's that number? And you say it to me.
20224.
Yes, everybody, get with it. If we had music now, oh, that's okay. If we had music right now, I would say in the late 60s, early 70s, the song by Nancy Sinatra, these boots were made for walking. That's what we're going to do, right? But now the song is, what's the song about boots now? We got our boots on the ground, right? We all have our boots, and let's do our marches, let's do our rallies, let's do our calls. We have to make noise. That's the only way we're going to make this change. Okay? Thank you, and I wish I had music.
Healthcare blue. I go to work every day just to try to earn $1. Because my healthcare costs so much it makes me want to holler. I went to my boss, said I need a raise in pay. He said, sorry, the insurance companies took it all away. Sometimes I wonder what we gotta do, cause we gotta find a cure for the healthcare blues. Gotta find a cure for the healthcare blues. Now I'm working overtime just to try to earn up money. My deductibles are so high it ain't even funny. I went to the doctor, I was feeling awful sick. I saw the bill, told the doc, let me die, cure me quick. Sometimes I wonder what we gotta do, cause we gotta find a cure for the healthcare blues. Gotta find a cure for the healthcare blues. Now there's 46 million people uninsured situations. Maybe a few million more when this healthcare bill goes through. We gotta take this problem to the capital of the state and nation. We gotta tell those legislatures, and this you can quote, support a single-payer health care or you won't get our vote. No longer will we wonder what we gotta do, cause we just find a cure for the health care blues. Single-payer health care cures the health care blues. Yeah!
This QR code, it's a petition to put single payer on the nation's agenda. Remember, we're going to force our Congress to put single payer on the nation's agenda. We have got to make this a public fight. And also, if you're interested in joining the movement of the millions of people that we need in the streets and in the workforce, please sign the sign-up sheet as well. I want to thank all the organizers. There are a lot of us. I want to thank all the speakers. Thank you. I want to thank my son who carted stuff around for us, and the musicians. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Jimmy, and thank you to the Brass Liberation Orchestra. That was amazing. So I think we're it. I think we're done. Everybody has a phone number that they've all memorized, right? And you're going to call. But most importantly is it's not enough to sign that legislation. They have to make it a public fight. All right, everybody, thank you.